we're going on to May, which starts with a game that's actually a really big game that, again, only one of us have played, which is, and only, from what I understand, not for very long. The Witcher 3
Really?
Wild Hunt, Game of the Year on many different websites.
Yeah,
So
dude. I think it probably deserves it, you know?
it probably does.
Yeah,
But that's
probably.
what Phil was saying earlier. So repeat what you said earlier, Phil.
I was playing it and I was really enjoying it, but then I lost my save file, and I didn't want to have to play like another 20 hours just to get back to where I was, which was absolutely nowhere in the story. The game is massive, absolutely massive in scale. So I didn't actually get very far. But from what I did play, I really, really enjoyed it, and it's incredibly easy to see how it would be Game of the Year.
Yeah, I've heard lots of almost
I've heard
nothing
a lot of really
good things about it. Yeah.
It kind of amazes me that like a video game can be of that scale. Like you have fucking continents, not countries, continents
Yeah.
Yeah,
that you can just trek through, you know?
yeah.
that
And
blows
with-
my mind. It's pretty amazing.
Meaningful and varied quests throughout.
Yeah, that aren't just like go here and
Yeah, not just go here, kill this, but actually.
And there's
buffaloes.
Yeah.
a lot of opportunities to make a lot of player choices.
Yes, a lot of role playing, and a lot of lore, rich lore. Just a great game, as far as I know.
The thing that's kind
How
of
do you feel about the combat system? On one hand, like I feel like a lot of people don't like it. I know with the first Witcher, the first Witcher like combat system, it was like really dog shit. But it's also like with 3, it's like sort of kind of like a departure from the series.
Yeah, it's more action oriented, but it's still quite clunky.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can dodge and parry and stuff, but it's really slow and disjointed.
But I mean,
And
the
Nowhere
combat.
near as like intricate as Dark Souls or Monster Hunter.
Yeah, no. Like it tries, but it just doesn't click quite as well.
But I mean, the combat's not really the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's it's a necessary evil.
I thought it was interesting that because like I had heard of the first 2 Witcher games. Like it wasn't like Witcher 3 came out and I was like, well, I never even heard of the first 2, you know. But I never thought they were like hugely like.
popular. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
like
well,
I know about the Witcher series, but I don't remember them being talked about as much as
Yeah.
this.
Is 3 the first one that's multi-platform? What
No,
was
I
2?
think Witcher 2 was. I think 2
Okay.
was.
I was still working at Target when Witcher 3 came out, and like it was a big like that day. I had like you guys got Witcher 3, and I was like, yeah. It was surprising to me. Like like I said, I got the sense that it was this huge, highly anticipated game, and I had no idea until it came out.
Yeah.
I think also, like, to the benefit of Witcher 3, you don't really need to have played the first 2.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure that is a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's for like series veterans, like it's more awesome because like
Yeah,
the
well, there's
lore.
like books and stuff.
yeah.
And a film. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's surprisingly rare. In fact, it's it's incredibly rare. The Witcher 3 was made by an independent Polish company, and it's as expansive and impressive as it is. Like that just doesn't happen these days. You can't just make a game that size and not have EA force microtransactions into it or something.
It's true. It's sad but true. Yeah.
I wanted to say also Geralt. He's pretty badass.
Yeah, he's a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, although he does die in surprisingly few hits.
Not as
The guy
badass
has been,
as you seem.
Slaying dragons all his life, like some random bandits. Sure can take him out easy. And there's a collectible card mini game as well, which is, that's worth the price of admission just by itself.
Nice.
Everybody
Is
loves
it,
collectible card minigames.
How does it compare to?
Is it good? Yeah. Is it
The Triple Triad?
Yeah, it's really enjoyable.
okay?
Cool.
I'll have to check it out then for the card game alone.
Check out Gwent. I'm sure there's an online version you can play. Someone's hacked together.
It's called Gwent.
Gwent, yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of weird names in that game. Half spelled names or
It has
gibberish.
a really distinct, like Polish style.
I think
Which
that's
again is refreshing.
I think that's pretty cool. Being Polish and everything, you know.
Yeah.
You don't often, like you said, you don't often see. I would say that CD Projekt Red is the only Polish developer I know of.
Yeah.
So.
My problem is, I don't know if we can play a game of that magnitude in this day and age.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I even put like 20 hours into it, and I did nothing. I did like one quest.
Yeah, I can't put that much time into a game.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, there are a lot of games like Witcher 3 or Xenoblade Chronicles X, which we'll talk about later, that I would love to play. I'm very interested in, but I just do not.
Don't have the time.
I don't have the time.
Will we talk about it later? I don't think anybody played it.
Oh, I guess we won't. Yeah, Josh isn't here.
You have it. He gave it to you, asshole.
that's
No.
different one.
He gave me Xenoblade 3D.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, X. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Did 3D come out this year as well?
I believe so, yes.
Hmm.
Which I have not played because I just got it 2 days ago.
Oh,
So, but yeah, Josh gave it to me as a belated Christmas present. So that was very nice of him. Thanks,
That's
Josh.
cool.
yeah.
Shout out to Josh. Woo.
Yeah.
Josh.
All right. So
Witcher 3, game of the year.
Yeah. Biggest game of the year. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I know. I'm sure people are very disappointed that we're not talking about The Witcher 3 more. Next game is Stretchmo.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that, Ricky.
Am I the only one that played Stretchmo?
Yes.
I played the free part.
The free part.
Yeah, me too.
That's a crying shame. So first of all, I loved Pushmo. I liked Crashmo. I thought it was okay, but I thought it was sort of a lesser sequel. It was cool because it was trying something different. It wasn't just doing the same thing again, and I admired it for that. But I preferred Pushmo, you know.
Yeah.
But Stretchmo, I feel like is the best one yet. I feel like it. So basically, in Pushmo, everything was flat, and you could pull it out up to 3 times, but only in one direction, right?
Yeah.
Only towards the camera. Whereas in Stretchmo, you can only pull it out twice, but you can pull it out in any direction. And you can rotate the camera around and go behind the image and pull out the back of it to step on it. And I feel like that really adds a lot, and it expands upon Pushmo more so than just being different than it, which is kind of what Crashmo did.
They saved it for the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one. The second sequel.
And the main thing though that Stretchmo does, part of this was the whole free to play model that they were experimenting with, where you can buy themed attractions, or you can buy them all for $10, which the game is fully worth $10. So I just recommend that you just do that. But they add cool stuff. One of them is just what they did in Pushmo as well, which is just the thing that you're climbing on is an 8-bit sprite, and that's fine and dandy and everything. But the coolest one they added, there's now enemies on puzzles. So you'll pull, they're stuck in, just the whole thing is flattened, but you pull it out and the enemy pops out, and then you can jump on its head, or sometimes it'll shoot at you. And because Pushmo, Stretchmo, they're all these puzzling platformer games where you have to figure out how to jump up to the top. You have to use these enemies in creative ways. Sometimes they'll run back and forth, or some of them can climb blocks, so they'll jump up and down 1 block high. Some of them, the enemies are 2 or 3 blocks tall, so you can only stand on them if you can get up to their heads or whatever. And I feel like that really adds a whole lot, and especially because you can use those and all the tools in the level editor, so you can put enemies in your maps.
Nice.
Just really already I loved Pushmo for the level editor, because I felt like that added so much to the game, because you're making a level, but you don't know how to solve it, because you don't, wherever you draw the pixels or whatever, you have to then jump in and play it to figure out how to get to the top. And I've never played another game that like when you make a level in Mario Maker, which we'll talk about later, you have the path through the level in your head. You know how you're supposed to beat it. But in Pushmo and Stretchmo and Crashmo, you don't. You have no idea how to solve it until you try. Which I feel is really cool, and that can open up creativity. You can jump in there and start playing this level that you've been working on, and go, whoa, this thing kind of happened by accident that I didn't know you could do, or I just got inspired for a really creative way that you could solve this.
Does the game let you know if your level is unbeatable?
Well, you can't upload it or
publish it unless you beat it.
It does
so
not.
So you test it out.
The thing is, because you get to decide where you put the flag, so like you can start playing your level before you put the flag in it. In which case, it's definitely unbeatable. Sure. So no, the game does not tell you like this level can't be completed, but it does tell you once you've completed it. It gets like a flag icon that says this level is beatable. We swear.
Sure.
And I just I think it's worth the $10 easily for the level editor in itself. But the puzzles that come with it, are really cool and creative as well. And they take really much better advantage of the 3D, I feel, than Pushmo did, because you can pull them out in all these different directions. You can get behind and on the side of, and you can go around like a spiraling tower or whatever, because you can build stuff in 3D now instead of just being one flat image. Some of the 3D puzzles are like really mind-bending, you were talking about how Box Boy never really like gets super hard. I felt like Pushmo and Crashmo already in the latest,
Yeah,
puzzles.
Pushmo does push you.
It does, yeah. It gets really hard towards the end, but I feel like Stretchmo even more so because of the third dimension, where you have to like consider like the back of it and the sides of it as you're trying to scale this thing. Really excellent game. I think easily worth $10. I loved Pushmo already, so this was kind of the sequel I was waiting for. Not that Crashmo was like a terrible game or anything, but it was just this Stretchmo was kind of more what I hoped for and expected out of a sequel to Pushmo.
Let me ask you this: can you just buy one of the theme parks and then just use the level editor? Or it's like, does it limit what you can use? Can you use like enemies and stuff?
So yes, if you for example, the way you unlock those things in the level editor is by beating those levels. So if you say only buy, I think it's like, I forget what it's called, but the park that has the enemies in it, if you only pay for that one, yes, you can use enemies in the level editor. If you buy the 3D sculpture park, where it's like, it's not stuff from video games, but it'll be like, a bus or a flower pot, but in 3D. Then you can get like, you unlock decals, so you can put like scary eyes or like stickers on the sides of your thing in the level editor. So all of them like have stuff for you to unlock, and you do not have to spend the full $10 to unlock specific things. You can.
I was gonna say, like, can you just buy a 1-pack and then remake the rest of the levels?
I mean, you would need like some sort of reference for them, but yeah, sure, that would be awesome. If you would need to buy the pack with the enemies, because that's the only way to get the enemies for the level editor. But the other levels could be made with regular tools. If you had like, or maybe you could get QR codes for them. You know what I mean? If somebody else had made them.
If you didn't want to spend the $10 and want to be a scumbag.
Sure, I mean, you can do that. That's one of the things that I think is really nice about Stretchmo, is that it's just you buy the thing once and you have it forever and you can play it forever, and you save a little bit of money by buying them all at once, which is nice. But if you don't want to spend the full $10 and you just are interested in the one mode, you can absolutely just buy that one mode. But if you complete every park, there is I know as if you do spend the $10 to buy them all, and then if you complete every puzzle in every park, there's a whole nother park full of like obscenely difficult puzzles that unlocks. So there is a little bit of extra content for if you do buy them all.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a great game. I highly recommend it if you have a 3DS. Whether you've played Pushmo or not, I don't feel like you really need like. one of the big problems with the whole series, I will say, is it's very like hand-holdy and like full of tutorials, and that's a bummer. But because of
You
that,
kind of need it.
yeah, because of that, you don't really need to play any other entry in the series to like get it. It's not like there's a story or anything, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, great game.
And you
And I'm
didn't
the only
play. Wait, did you play Pushmo World?
I did not play Pushmo World. I wanted to, but I
Yeah, it was essentially a level pack.
I that's kind of what I figured. Like I loved Pushmo, but that game already has infinite levels because there's a level creator, you know.
Yeah. So you could just make those levels your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
But with Stretchmo, the mechanics are actually different. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll probably check that game out. I like Pushmo. I didn't spend too much time in Crash Mode, but I like that one as well. I should have played Stretchmo. I don't know why I didn't. It's probably because of the whole model thing.
Yeah. I could see why that would turn people away from it, but I do think that this is one of the more, especially compared to like Rumble World or Pokemon Picross, you know, I feel
Mhm.
like the way that Stretchmo does it is a much more open and honest. Like, listen, this is what we've got. You could buy it, you could not, you know.
Yeah, like even if you like after the initial thing, you can buy like one theme park, and I think they'll still maybe offer you a discount for the rest of it.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I feel like they'll still offer you a discount, but probably not as much.
Yeah. I was just happy to drop the $10 because
You like Pushmo?
I just
Yeah.
I love the series. So
I like the series too.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't play Stretchmo, aside from the free version. I
didn't play Stretchmo.
The series reminds me of Catherine.
yes, the first Pushmo in particular was very
Yeah.
similar to Catherine. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Catherine was awesome.
I feel like they came out around the same time too.
They did.
I think Catherine came out first,
They
so
did.
I guess Pushmo's kind of a ripoff, but whatever. It's a lot cuter and like less sexy. So
Like, I don't want to turn this podcast into Catherine, but that game, like, the story in that game, kind of wacky and stuff like that. But like, it has really, really adult themes. Like, aside from being just sexy, like the theme of like marriage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and infidelity as well. It's very mature.
Yeah, it's great.
Great game. Very fantastic game. Play Catherine as well.
all right.
Game of the year, Catherine.
Game of the year, 2012.
I think it was 2011.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Alright, so maybe the reason you didn't play Stretchmo was because in May, another pretty big game came out by the Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
One of the biggest games, I would say, for us here.
Yes.
You know, I'm a kid now, I'm a squid now, it's Splatoon.
Splat-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Woo.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us have played this. Like,
I was still working at Target when that came out, so I got to hear that all day on TV.
Splatoon. Did a lot of people come in looking for Splatoon?
Yeah, it sold pretty well.
I've heard it sold pretty well.
I meant at my store. I mean, I sold pretty well in general, but I meant like
Yeah. For a Wii U game.
yes.
It sold at least 5 copies. All right, talk about Splatoon.
I guess I'll talk about Splatoon since I think I got the most worth out of Splatoon. However, I haven't played it very recently, like maybe the past couple months or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I freaking love Splatoon. I played it when the global test fire or whatever happened for whatever, and I loved everything about it. The gyro controls, although was something that you need to adjust to, and a lot of people didn't adjust to. And thankfully, they have like control settings to where you don't have to use the gyro controls. I feel like that is the way to play
Absolutely.
Splatoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get used to it. It was a little too for me. It was disorienting for me.
Yeah, so, I play with them off, but I definitely think that
I can see the value, but I couldn't get get the hang of it.
I think you guys are right that if you want to be the best, most skilled Splatoon player, you need to learn to work with the gyro controls because
it's true.
Otherwise, you can't aim and move or aim and jump at the same time.
Yeah. But also, it just makes the game more unique than every third-person shooter that you played before. And, like, the game is so fresh.
Yes, it's very fresh.
It's just so new. Everything about it's new. It's like, it's Nintendo's first, like...
competitive shooter.
And it
feels like such a Nintendo game. Like it's it's got their fingerprints all over that game. Like it's just such a Nintendo take on the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty fantastic.
The way like all the mechanics work together, it's very like a beautiful cycle.
It really is amazing. I think it can't be understated how ingenious the controls and just how fluid everything feels.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they found a way to make a shooter in which crouch, sprint, and reload are all on the same button, and that it works and makes perfect sense and feels amazing, like that's no small feat, I don't think.
No, it's not.
They really, you could tell they thought really hard about the underlying mechanics of this game and what they meant for playing it.
Mm-hmm. They thought of that first, I believe.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Hey, what does this work with? Oh, let's do it. It's like squids would work for this." Well, at first it was like bunnies with some shit.
At first, it was squares. It was like tofu cubes.
Oh, okay, and then it was the bunnies.
Yes, then it was bunnies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they struck gold with the squids.
Yeah. By being able to make them like move the ink and shit. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, it's so much fun. Just mechanically fun to play. Like even obviously the fun is with the multiplayer, but even if you're just playing in single player, it's just fun to like move, just like spray the ground and swim in it and go up walls. Like just that on its own is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I was saying, it's just such a unique experience, and it's very accessible.
Yes.
I think it's easy to get a hold of the controls, but it's kind of like difficult to like master, like to be really good at the game. And because there's so many like options for weapons and gear and sub moves and all kinds of stuff like that, that like there's a lot of variety in it, and there's a lot that it takes to get like really good at it.
Well, the variety is probably my favorite part of it because there's so much bulk there. Like if you don't really think a certain weapon is really your thing, you can try something totally different, or just stick with what feels good to you, and that's awesome that they thought of that. So
I definitely think the customization is really like.
Oh, for sure.
You can cater to any playstyle.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the coolest things about it, which I can never say about video games in general, is the community, because like they've successfully created like a shooter game where it's not about the competition, and there's no time to get salty and like be vengeful, and because you've got to focus on like covering turf and not killing people. So
when the game came out, it got a lot of flack for not having voice chat, but I think honestly
I think that's a feature.
Sincerely, yes, I think that is one of the smartest things about the game, like no exaggeration.
Yes, it's honest. They wanted it to be about teamwork and cooperation, and they achieved that.
They wanted kids to be able to play it. It's it's a
Nintendo
It's a Nintendo console. Like obviously, like one of their target demographics is children. Like if you're gonna have a bunch of 10-year-olds playing with a bunch of 30-year-old assholes who are telling kids to suck their dick over the fucking
dropping F-bombs all
like
how the fuck are they gonna be able to enjoy
you don't want that shit in your game.
That's not fun.
And
that's not fun.
You just don't need it for the kind of game that Splatoon is. You can see
absolutely not.
All you gotta do is look down at the map and say, "Oh shit, that is a lot of orange. I better go deal with that." You know, you don't need like. First of all, if you really want voice chat, get on Skype or something.
Get some friends, get on Skype.
The last thing I want when I'm playing a video game is for some grainy, bad quality audio from somebody who doesn't know how close to the gamepad's microphone they need to be yelling at me. It's just like nobody needs that in their life. So it drove me up the wall when people were like, "Where's the voice chat?" Like,
go fucking play Call of Duty.
Why would you even want that on a Wii U game, as far as I'm concerned?
Right.
Man, you were talking about assholes, like 30-year-old assholes.
I mean, they still.
I was thinking the opposite.
They still, like 13-year-old assholes.
CS:GO,
yeah, 13-year-old assholes.
The ones that are foul now, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You don't want to hear that either. But I'm saying protect the young ones, the good ones. Like it's just a better idea to just not have the voice chat
it's
because
much more accessible and much more fun.
Like just like Jess said, like there's more focus on the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like
there's no focus really on much competition because there's no time for competition. So.
Yeah, like you're not distracted by people like blaring their music in the background. You know, so it's better. I think it's better without the voice chat, and it just makes for a solid game that's accessible.
Yeah, I have no complaints with Splatoon. Really, it's probably one of my favorite games of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of my favorite games in general. So
I'm especially impressed with the support, the free support that it's continued to receive in terms of new weapons and stages and stuff. But I will say that even with that, this is no fault of the game, but I just kind of didn't continue to play it for whatever reason. I haven't participated in any Splatfests. A lot of the new maps they've added, I still haven't played on.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of that has to do with I haven't really played with you guys, and I want to play with you guys, and I work a lot, and so I don't get to talk to you guys all the time. And then when we are playing games, we're playing Smash Brothers because that's got new DLC. So it's Splatoon's kind of fallen by the wayside for us, not for most people, but for us. And I mean that's kind of sad because it is a good game, and I would like to play it again. But
I think it's a great game.
It's a great game. You mentioned single player briefly.
Yeah.
The amiibo functionality sort of just takes the single player levels from single player, and then remixes it a little bit with different the weapon types. Yeah. And that's really interesting.
I do really like this part, actually.
Which one was one? It's the squid one, where you had to Kraken and save ink and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was really really interesting. Also, here's Kyle.
Hey,
welcome back.
Hey.
Don can always just hear me walk into a room.
We're talking about Splatoon.
No, I was looking at the Skype window and I saw you pop up. But yeah, we're talking about Splatoon. I'm talking about the amiibo functionality.
I'll just give you to it then.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're talking about. I was going to say that you unlock some equipment from doing the amiibo challenges, which plays into the multiplayer aspect of it.
Yeah.
So.
But
unfortunately, most people probably didn't get the amiibos because it came out in a 3-pack in America.
Yeah, and they were kind of hard to get because they were amiibos. They fixed that since then. I think they've re-released all the Splatoon amiibos, but
there was plentiful in Toys R Us when I was in there the other day. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's amiibos have gotten better, but as everybody knows, when they first came out, it was the worst distribution on the face of the planet, and nobody could ever get them. I got them before I even had the game. But yeah.
The amount of content that they've added from the DLC is quite a bit, but at the same time, to begin with, they really limited what they had, sort of to trickle it in.
That's fair to say, but I don't feel like the game shipped short on content.
Yeah.
I don't feel like what was there at start was not enough to justify the price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about the geniusness of Splatfest, versus Conquest in Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
You have they hype it up, like a week or two or before the actual Splatfest happens. They're like, choose your side, all right, and then you also get rewarded depending on like which side wins, by double essentially. And so with Splatfest, I forget which one was the first one. Cats versus Dogs. Yeah, they have these different teams for each of the Splatfests, and you choose which side. And you play in Turf War with your team against the other team. Generally, they had to like patch it to where that sometimes you'll match up against your own team because they didn't foresee like it being one-sided for the Splatfest sometimes, and then you'll have like too many cats versus nothing.
Too many cats?
Many cats.
Okay, basically,
No such thing.
the geniusness of Splatoon is because there's time to hype it up. Where like you can post me versus post like pictures of Naruto and shit for ninjas versus pirates and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like they give you time to prep for it, and then it happens, and then you play for an entire day, and it feels more an event. Like the whole plaza gets changed to
Squid
a
Sisters out
concert.
there.
Yeah, the Squid Sisters are singing and dancing. The lighting's different. The lighting within the maps are different. There's fucking Miiverse posts everywhere for each of the teams. Everybody's dancing, and it's just such an event. It and also they force you to play Splatfest on that day.
It's like a way to keep playing, like to get people to continue playing the game.
Yeah.
After launch, which is pretty cool.
And like with Conquest in Smash, it's just kind of like, oh, I go on for glory, and oh, I just so happen to be playing a character that is on this team.
Yeah,
that
it's like
playing against this character.
This battle is part of a conquest, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And the teams don't even make sense. It's not like there's no like theme, like money versus love or whatever it was for Japan. I forget what it was. Milk versus tea. Like there's so many different teams and stuff like that. And even if you have shitty themes in Europe, you can at least appreciate the Splatfest from other regions.
Sure. Yeah.
Europe had really shitty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was like one of the ones like?
I don't know. This.
Was it like clean room, sloppy room?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, like we got Autobots versus Decepticons. That blew my goddamn mind. Like,
yeah, I know, right? I'm sad that I missed that one, but that was awesome.
Roller coasters versus water slides.
Oh yeah, hot dogs versus was it marshmallows?
I think it was Was it marshmallows?
That was America.
Marshmallows and hot dogs.
Oh yeah, that was America. Yeah.
Yeah, and like water slides versus roller coasters. I think those are all great.
And then of course there was Naughty and Nice for Christmas, which I thought was really cute.
Europe had North Pole versus South Pole. Like, okay. Great.
The worst.
Oh god.
And of course the best one, pineapple pizza. Good or bad? That's not. Yeah, that's not. I don't want to lose Ricky as a friend again.
But I love
it. It also had a really cool single player, even though it was maybe short and not obviously the draw. But they could have put nothing into it, and I still would have enjoyed the multiplayer. But they actually, like, there is some cool stuff, like the ink rails, and the sponges and geysers that is exclusive to single player.
Yeah, the single player is fun. The multiplayer may be where like it shines the brightest, but the single player is still like a fun little thing. So I'm glad they put it in. It adds a little bit more.
Yep.
I also want to talk about sort of the genius behind how the multiplayer works, but also it kind of is not so good quality of life. With like, if you go into like Turf 4, you get put in this lobby, and then you play, and you're kind of stuck with the loadout that you chose.
Yeah, it would be nice
Go
to switch on the fly. Mario Kart is like
You
that.
you can in ranked, team ranked, because you get matched up with different people every single time.
Okay.
But for like, just like if you want to go into like regular ranked or tier 4, you kind of get stuck.
Yeah.
With that, but it makes matches being found quicker, and so like there's never like a shortage of like matchmaking with just like how the game is played normally, and also there's fewer pools to go to. You either play ranked or team ranked or turf war. So there's no like excess modes and like Call of Duty has, that nobody plays, and then nobody gets matched up for it. They only play team deathmatch or whatever casual modes that Call of Duty has. Because there are games where there's like way too many modes, and then the matchmaking gets killed for if there's like too many buckets for people to fall into, you know.
Sure.
So that's the real genius behind it. They really made it to where like, hey, if you want to play Splatoon, you're not gonna have a shortage of people to play against.
Well, part of that is like the like when you play ranked, there's like 4 different ranked modes, but it's all because it like cycles, you know. Like today at this time of day, it's only gonna be Rainmaker or whatever.
There's 3 modes.
Yeah.
Not counting the separate team subset, I guess. But there's Rainmaker, Tower Control, and Splat Zones. And of the 3 ranked modes, I like Splat Zones the most. The first one.
Yeah.
Rainmaker's also a close second. But I fucking absolutely hate Tower Control. Like, Tower Control is dog shit. Don't play Tower Control. If you see Tower Control,
just move on.
Just
move on.
Yeah, play a different game.
Not even play Turf War until it changes.
Oh, I mean, you could do that too. After the ranked mode came out, I kind of played that exclusively, and I eventually got to S rank before my Wii U died on me, and then I had to start all the way over because all that shit's not saved on the cloud.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Thank you, Nintendo, for being backwards. But I played a lot of ranked, and I enjoy that, like Splat Zones, more than I enjoy Turf War.
Sure.
I can still appreciate Turf War, but like, I just really liked Splat Zones. I like Rainmaker too a little bit, but it's not as good as Splat Zones in my opinion. And there's other people who are like, I like Rainmaker way more because like it's kind of like a football type of thing, you know. You grab the Rainmaker and then you gotta.
It's like capture the flag
there.
If the flag was like a super powerful gun.
Yeah. And that's also like super genius, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
The way they designed the Rainmaker is quite balanced because you have to sit there and charge it quite a bit to actually do anything with it. You want to, like, if you just shoot it, it does this like tiny little tornado that goes nowhere. You can't go any further with that unless you want to walk. But like obviously the most optimized way of traveling with it is swimming with it, you know? That's the quickest way to do it. Rainmaker is good. Tower Control, not. Splat Zones, I feel like it's the best.
I feel like Splat Zones, not having played Tower Control or Rainmaker, because like I said, I kind of fell off the wagon with Splatoon. But I feel like Splat Zones is like the best sort of representation of like a high level play.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of like strategy and skill involved in Splat Zones that just doesn't exist in Turf War because it's a little more straightforward. You know.
Mm-hmm. The ranked modes are definitely more kill centric, but my sort of preference is sort of based on how much of the essence of Splatoon is there. I feel like Splatoon is about shooting the ground, shooting the ground. So like Splat Zones, you want to control that territory, so you shoot the ground, right? With tower control, you don't really do that. You just stand on the tower, Yeah. With Rainmaker, you need to do that in order to get to the goal very quickly. You still have to shoot the ground. That is the essence of Splatoon. Painting stuff.
I agree. I mean, that's the unique feature that makes the game sort of shine.
I feel like tower control is not really Splatoon. Like it's sort of like the payload mode for Team Fortress 2, but not as good because it's like also
because it's not like, Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, because it's not Team Fortress 2. It doesn't really work for Splatoon.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It's like how the Fiend's Cauldron was just taken out of Kid Icarus and put into Smash Brothers without really thinking about how it doesn't really work as well in Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just like sort of one more thing I want to talk about Splatoon is the different weapon types, because we didn't really talk about that. Even though I fucking hate rollers, I fucking will never use a roller in my life. Because I like using weapons that require a lot of skill and stuff like that. So I like using. I just say the rollers are essential to the game, even though I feel like it's very easy because it's a Nintendo game. You gotta have that really easy to use weapon. It was definitely the first weapon I tried when I played the Global Testfire way back when.
Yeah.
And that eased me into like the motion controls really, even though you don't really need to use the motion controls with rollers. You kind of just paint the ground, unless you're playing in the ranked modes where before pre-patch, Dynamo Roller would cover like stupid amounts of range, like more than Chargers, and would instant kill at max range. And I was like, man, whatever. That's besides the rollers are very salt-inducing, but I feel like they're essential to the game because it's a Nintendo title. They need to have like this easy weapon that's really approachable, and also fuck Kraken.
Wow.
I'll remember that next time I'm playing with the Octobrush.
Oh, the Octobrush is okay.
No, but the Octobrush has Kraken, right?
It does. It does. And after like post-patch, after they patched like rollers in general, they've kind of been not as bad. A lot of weapons that they've come out with kind of are really annoying. I would play with like Zerb and Gabe a lot, and Gabe keeps telling me like, man, this game is like really shit. As the game has gone further with the new maps and with the new weapons, he just hates it now. But he plays it anyway. And I can see that like a lot of weapons can be really annoying. Like the Luna Blaster, it has like a huge splash radius despite having not a lot of range, but it also does like a shit ton of damage, and if you like direct hit with it, they instant die, so it's kind of like as scrubby as a roller, but not.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that plays into like just like how much skill like a weapon takes and how much salt it induces because of how little skill it takes. But we'll not get into that.
All right.
I just real quick. The last thing I want to say about Splatoon is that I love just like the setting and the art direction, the sort of like Shibuya vibe of the whole game.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
with like the graffiti and the neon lights and stuff. I just think it's super. Adds a lot of charm to it. You know.
The fashion in the game I feel like is probably one of the most modern things in a video game. Like everything's like with other video games, it's like everyone does like fantasy and stuff like that. And before that, the other game that I would attribute to being modern and stylish and stuff like that would be The World Ends With You, and
Which is also
Mm-hmm.
set in Shibuya. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's got that urban,
Yeah.
stylish and cool thing.
I think that's a huge part of the charm of Splatoon because it's just cool. It's just like it's just the style. It's fresh, like you said.
It is.
I think that's the exact word you're looking for. Cool.
Yep.
Fresh.
It's just.
I'm really disappointed that Inklings weren't like a full-on character for Smash Bros.
Well, they will be in the next one. Almost
Yeah.
guaranteed.
At some point. You know it's gonna
I mean, it's Nintendo's first new IP since Pikmin. They gotta be in the game.
Oh, shut up. Shut up, Game Explain.
I knew somebody at some point was gonna bring that up. I'm a little surprised it's Matt. Because he can't stand that shit. So
Guys.
I'm not gonna go into that rant like right now,
No,
but
let's not.
I'm just so over
They
that.
don't deserve the attention.
I'm just so over that. I'm so over it from everyone. Anyway, I love Splatoon. We need to move on, but we also need to stop this particular recording for right now because it's gonna hit. It's like 2.5 hours long, so
Okay.
let's just stop it, and then we'll come back, and maybe we can get Kyle to rant about Pokemon. Kyle, are you gonna talk about Pokemon Rumble World, or you want us to just move on?
I can if you really want me to.
I mean, we kind of set it up as like you're gonna just go on this big giant rant when we talked about Rumble World, and I kind of feel like we owe it to us more than we do to anybody else. But I want to hear you talk about Rumble World. We'll retroactively add it in. So go ahead, talk about Rumble World.
You guys didn't just sort of leave it be after I texted you?
No. I mean, we knew that you weren't coming back, but we kind of talked about Rumble World, like how we felt about it, and then we kind of talked about how you kind of really hated it. And
Okay.
like we didn't like speak for you, but we mentioned that you kind of groan-inducingly hate it like a lot. So talk about it. Go ahead. Talk about your game of the year.
No, I don't think this is the worst game of the year. It's still a ginormous pile of garbage. This is just like the epitome of everything that's just wrong and awful about free-to-play games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like there's apparently like you can just pay $30 and then you have it, and I don't know what the difference is, or if there is a difference. But the thing, I'm just talking about the free-to-play.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like the opposite of what games should be.
It's pretty damning.
Like,
Yeah.
You buy hot air balloons, and these hot air balloons can take you to various locations where you just go around and catch your little toy Pokemon, and that's great. But each balloon, like after you go to a location, you can't use it again for several hours. Like the first batch, it's an hour, and then like the next level up is from that is 2 hours. But there are balloons that I can't use again for over 10 hours. There's even the lucky balloon, and that's 20 hours.
Oh my lord! That's almost a day.
Exactly. And it's just like, here I am with a game that, you know, I received it for free, but I have this thing, you know, it's part of the gameplay where I can't use the balloon. Now I can pay to use the balloon now, not wait 20 hours, if I do something with Poke Gems. Poke Gems are real money. Okay, so it's like the Poke Gems have a wide variety of uses, but that's the thing. It's like that's like if I'm not using Poke Gems, I am so limited in what I'm capable of doing. All Mega Stones cost gems. If a Pokemon faints, I can continue for gems. The balloon has like 5 or 6 locations, 3 on the lower levels, but it's chosen by roulette, and I can influence the roulette just with like timing, or I can use gems to pick which location I want to go to. And just the sheer amount of times where I am offered a chance to do something using gems, using real money, is absurd. Like that's what a free to play game is.
Yeah.
It's like it's free to play, but you're incentivized to spend more money to do all of these other things, or to allow you to actually play the game. And I would much rather actually just
play the game.
I would much rather give them money up front so I could play the game at my own leisure, at my own pace. Not to be like suddenly, oh wait, you've used up all your hot air balloons. Oh no, my Skylanders are tired. I have to go buy another Skylander.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, Skylanders get tired, but that's not what I'm talking about.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly awful. Wow. Activision.
But
Company of the year all years.
No, it's just so awful because I've gotten to the point where like gems are not like free gems exist too, but they're not easy to come by. So you have to constantly be like the big ones are like rewards for these quests that you do for the king. But even then, there's a certain limit to what you're doing. How many you're capable of earning. Most of them are just the ones I get from like people show up on Spot Pass or Street Pass or invite online once a day, and that's great. But I just bought a balloon that was worth 120 gems, and I can't constantly be earning gems to make that a frequent occurrence. Like the next balloon up from that is 140 gems, and it took me forever to get this 120 gem one up and running. And it's not worth it. I put it that way before, or it'd be like I just said I just want to pay, you know, $20, $30, $40 to have a game, and then I'll be able to play it at the rate and speed that I want.
Yeah.
Might I recommend Stretchmo?
Pokemon Picross is like structured very similarly, and it's kind of shitty.
Pokemon Shuffle,
but at least
bad.
But at least like with the Picross's gameplay, it has the core of Picross is fun, but with Rumble World, it's not fun. I don't even get how it can be enjoyable in the slightest. You just kind of
bump into.
Yeah,
someone.
bump into things by pointing your circle pad into to the general direction of another Pokemon, and you got it. Nice.
Game of the year.
That said, I think I'm finally over Pokemon. Not because of Rumble World. I think I'm over it.
Yeah, we've kind of been saying that for a while now. We're just kind of thrown out of Pokemon.
And all of the changes that they've made to the gameplay, like the introduction of Fairy type is actually really exciting, but it's everything else. Like again, I also want to say like multiplayer is finally at a fantastic place. Like it's never been better. But it's just with all these additions of like now we've got mega forms and all these alternate evolutions and forms, legendary Pokemon you can only obtain by event, Pokemon only by event that have additional forms, and it's just, please make it stop.
Well, okay, let's get away from Pokemon then.
Yeah, yay, Pokemon.
Yay.
Oh wait, what? Okay. All right, let's go. Well, let's hop back to June.
Going into June,
where we were headed before. First game on the list is The Adventures of Pip, which is an indie game that Don doesn't like, but I like.
I don't hate it. Even though I voiced that I did hate it before.
You sound like you hate it.
Do you want me to talk about it, or should you?
Somebody talk about it. I know absolutely.
I'll talk about it, and then you could talk about why you hate it.
Sure.
I have literally never heard of it.
Oh well, it was an indie game. I believe it was kickstarted. It got a lot of publicity on Go Nintendo and their like magazine that they put together with like Mark Kelly and stuff, the Nintendo Force magazine.
Yeah.
It got a lot of play in those because it was coming at the time exclusively to the Wii U and PC. It has since come out on PlayStation 4 and I think actually Xbox One as well.
It has, yes.
Yeah, which is, that's not a big deal, whatever. But it is a platforming, old school style game where you play as this little square. He is literally a pixel square.
Oh, I have heard of this game, and
you can transform into like
higher bits.
Yeah, like a 8-bit character and then like a 32-bit character, and you can do that throughout the game at the levels like almost at will. You have to beat like certain enemies to like gain power to do it, but they're placed so like generously that you never really run out of that power because you need it to solve puzzles and they give that to you like when you need it. So like the little one, like the pixel one can like float, and the 8-bit one can like wall jump, and the final form the 32-bit one has a sword, and it's just a little puzzle game or puzzle platformer game, I guess, that relies on the story is like based around like taking the resolution away from people, like turning them into those little pixel creatures. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of a very like tongue-in-cheek story about like basically about graphics, honestly. Yeah. But I was looking forward to it because it looked like a fun little game with a unique little take on it, and I would say like the art style is kind of unique, and like that whole pixel thing is unique, but it's not really that unique in terms of like gameplay because it's just like playing as characters with different powers. Like you've played that same that same platformer a million times. So that's what Don's problem with it is. It's not like super unique or anything, but I think it's fun. Like I don't regret buying it. It's worth playing.
Cool.
But anyway, Don,
yeah,
you can go ahead.
You pretty much said it. It doesn't blow me away,
Yeah, it's not like a game-changing like indie game. Like there are better indie platformers. Like Shovel Knight is, if you want an old school style.
Blows me away.
Yeah, if you want an old school style platforming game, just buy Shovel Knight. So it's not great, but I think it's fun. It's got a unique little style and a unique sense of humor. So
I think if you like making sprites like we do,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get an appreciation from it.
Yeah, I think
But
so too.
that's really niche.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm not sure if I'd recommend it to people. My other issue with the game is that I feel like it loads too much.
It does have to load a lot, and I don't completely understand why, because it's not like a graphical powerhouse. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
They use like a proprietary engine too, so
So like, why is it
gotta
loading?
optimize that shit or something.
Why is it loading so often? It does have to load a lot, and that does take away from it. But
And a lot of platformers do this, I feel like, but I kind of don't like it when it does. Once you get to like the end of the room, but not the end of the level, it warps you to the next room. Like it just sort of pops you in the next room, and that could be like on the other side of the screen. You know?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Guacamelee does that too, and I kind of don't like that. You know, I like when Shovel Knight scrolls it like Mega Man. You know, that's just a nitpicky thing, I guess.
I think it's a fine complaint.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty much it that I have to say on Adventures Pip. I think it's fun. It's not great. If you can get it cheap, check it out. If you can't, well, oh well.
Yeah, I got it cheap, and I was still kind of disappointed because it looks cool. The graphics, they look cool. The premise kind of looks was kind of cool, but it didn't really wow me
It didn't
because
wow
it
you.
kind of was in the middle of the road platformer. You know, they didn't try anything really new or exciting. And I know Steven kind of like he played that game as well, and he echoes my sentiments.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that's it for Adventures of Pip.
Yep. Let's move on to oh boy. The next game on this list is Sonic Runners for the iOS and Android. Let me tell you about Sonic Runners.
Okay.
Tell us, man.
Sonic Runners is, as you would expect, an endless runner, starring Sonic the Hedgehog, because that is a popular form of mobile game.
Sonic?
It's a popular form of mobile game. And the basic core gameplay, it's not too bad. It's kind of fun. You're just running. You can't stop. You tap to make them jump. You tap again to make them jump. You run through enemies. You collect some stuff. You beat up Eggman. You keep going. It's basic. It's pretty basic, but it's fun. I like it. I think the core gameplay is solid. But everything else about Sonic Runners is a goddamn joke. From the fact that it takes 1,000,000 hours to load. As soon as you boot that game up, it takes forever to load. There's a opening loading screen. There's another loading screen that like gives you a hint. Then there's a loading screen on the title screen after the two loading screens. And then you finally get to like the menu, and it has to load all this shit about like events that are going on and like the scoreboards, and like it just takes forever to get to the actual game. So that's annoying. And then because it is free to play, it falls for every single free to play trap in the book. You only have 3 lives, and if you die 3 times, you're out of lives and you have to wait 20 minutes or half hour or whatever for one of your lives to respawn. So that's already annoying. Okay, second of all, they tout that there are so many playable characters in this game, because there are. You can play as like every Sonic character ever. I think fucking like Tikal is playable, and like Mephiles from Sonic 06. Like Jesus. There are so many characters that are playable in this game.
The people want to know, Matt.
What?
Can you play as Eggman Nega?
No, Eggman Nega is not in the game yet.
Best game ever.
Yeah, I thought it was in the game, so I guess he's coming out.
Yeah, he might be coming out.
I saw Eggman Nega in something.
He's in the Mario and Sonic, the new one, the Olympic game.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Go ahead.
No. But okay, but there's all these characters that you can play as, and through the course of the story, you unlock Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and they all play like slightly different or whatever. But one of the big draws is all these characters you can play, and in order to unlock them, you have to either collect a certain number of rings or collect a certain number of red rings. Well, rings and red rings are scarce in the game, and of course they cost a shit ton to unlock. It costs like 5 million rings or something to
They
unlock.
should have put Sonic Runners on 360. You'd have plenty of red rings.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
Oh, I saw that joke coming a mile away.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Still good.
it costs like 5 million rings to unlock a character, and I had the game for a few months, and I was only at like 600,000 rings. So like, I never unlocked another character. But you can purchase red rings. And with red rings, they cost less. The characters cost less. It's like 250 red rings. But in order to buy a pack of, I believe it's 200 red rings, it is $30. You don't even get one character,
Wow.
and you can buy the rings for like $30.
Are you what?
No, that is not an exaggeration. That is just, I mean, maybe it's 250 that you get for $30, but the highest amount of red rings you can buy costs $30, which will unlock you one character of like 20.
That's bullshit.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's the worst free-to-play model that I have ever seen. Like
Like you said, you haven't unlocked any characters, but do you know that they're any different than Sonic, or are they all just for Sonic reskins?
Most of them are Sonic reskins. Some of them are like easier to play as, like they're slower, so you can like plan your jumps out better. Some of them have like triple jumps and stuff. Like there's slight variations, but for the most part, they're all the fucking same. They just look different. And then sometimes some of the characters you can only get through special events that go on for a couple weeks, and you get to play this little roulette, and you only get one shot at that roulette every day. So you get one spin on that roulette every day, and that character is normally hidden in like a special like capsule or whatever that's only on one spot of the roulette, but you can also get other stuff in that capsule. So even if you land on it, there's a possibility that you're not going to get fucking Vector the Crocodile like you want. You're going to get fucking some bullshit like, I don't know, 10 shield capsule where you can use shields throughout the course of the levels. And like, it's such bullshit. And they recently like released a patch that they actually had to go back and unpatch because people complained about it so much, where since it's an endless runner and like the point is to get a high score and to collect more coins and stuff, eventually if you go into the game long enough, like if you're running long enough, they would start spawning these walls of spikes that you have to take a hit to get through. Like literally from the ceiling to the ground. Like so you lose your rings, okay, and you keep running because it's a Sonic game. So if you have rings, you can keep running. But you lose your rings, and if you get hit again, you're dead, obviously. So like another wall of spikes will spawn. And like people complained so much about that because that's fucking bullshit, right? That's like shady. That's so shady. That's like, hey, we want you to spend money on lives. We don't want you to keep playing this game forever. They had to go back and patch it out because people complained so much. And just Sonic Runners is such a mess. It's such a mess. And like of course it is because it's a fucking Sonic game. So of course it's a fucking mess. But the main gameplay is kind of fun. So like it's really disappointing. And I just okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but every other fucking game was like that. Just play the Subway servers or some shit.
I know that like that's how free to play games just are, but I don't. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's really shady. Like it's exciting to have like a Sonic game with like so many characters you can play as, but it's like you never actually get to play as them. I unlocked Rouge by accident. Like on the roulette, I just got lucky, and that's it. I don't have anybody else.
You didn't get Halloween Rouge?
No, Halloween
Christmas
Rouge.
Knuckles?
Nope.
Christmas Knuckles has antlers.
Oh, gotta get him. Gotta go spend $30. Be right back. It's terrible. It's
That
terrible.
said,
That
I
sounds
think I'm
awful.
done with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. You've moved on
I'm
from
kidding.
Sonic too?
No. Like
You've moved on from
it
Sonic a long
wasn't
time
because
ago.
of that game. I'm not just trying to make fun of Kyle or anything like that because he was saying that about Pokemon. But I just after Smash Bros. And realizing that I really don't have any attachment to Sonic anymore, I kind of feel like I don't care about Sonic anymore. The last good Sonic game, Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah, that was
Did,
the last.
did, I heard good things about Sonic Colors, but
Yeah, but that was
Sonic Colors
before.
was
Yeah, that's
prior.
well then Sonic Generations.
too
Yeah.
long.
Colors was really good, but Generations was the best.
It's just.
Like
Yeah.
Generations was the Sonic game Sonic fans were asking for.
Yep, and after that, they were just like, nope, we're not doing this again. So
Well, they're not doing a lot of things anymore, Sega.
it's true.
Yeah, they're bad. They're focusing mostly on
Gotcha, Juan?
mobile games and shit like that.
Oh.
And it's like obviously, I mean, it must be working if they can fucking extort their fan base by charging them $30 for so many red rings. But whatever, fucking, I'm over it. The game's
Yeah.
I deleted it off my phone. Like just
Good.
I played it for like a month and fucking couldn't unlock anything. It was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm over this. This game's garbage.
Okay.
I never even got to play the patch with the like walls of spikes, but I've watched videos of it, and it's just, how do you do that? How do you do that? That's so shady. Like you're not even like hiding it. You're not even hiding your greed. Like you
Yeah,
basically
at least
put in
back
a
in the
what?
day, like with arcades, it only costed 25 credits or cents for a credit.
Yeah, and they made game bullshit hard back then too. But you could get really good at a game. Like
Yeah.
you can get really good
There's-
at Final Fight and beat it without like dying.
Yeah, there's plenty of like one credit clear shit out
Yeah,
there.
fucking Sonic Runners with that giant wall of spike, it was literally impossible. You could not get through it without taking a hit.
That's when it becomes not fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's bad. It's bad gameplay. That's bad design. That's just
If they
being a
design
bad company.
point where no amount of skill will allow you to get through it without beating it, then it's no longer fun.
No, it was not fun. It was bad.
It's the thing with like just free to play games in general. It's like it's money first, gameplay second.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
And so let's just like create this avenue for people to press, give us money buttons.
Yep.
And people do it, unfortunately, because people are really fucking stupid.
Yep. I just wanted to play
It's,
as
it's
Big the
real
Cat,
shame.
guys. I just wanted to play as Big the Cat. Anyway,
You can't play as Big the Cat.
you
Play
can.
Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, we'll just
Don't
put Sonic
play
Adventure
Big Cat and Sonic Adventure.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm done with Sonic. I'm over Sonic. I moved on.
Don't play as Big Cat and Sonic Heroes either.
Yeah, don't play as Big the Cat. All right. The next game on the
Okay.
list is Heroes of the Storm. That's a.
Yeah.
I
Is
can
that,
talk about that game.
is that a MOBA? That's a
Okay.
MOBA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Is
MOBA.
it-
I don't really like calling things MOBAs.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I've probably asked this in previous years.
Multiplayer online battle arena
Thank you.
is a coin that's developed by the League of Legends team to not call it Dota.
Oh, okay.
That's literally why they invented it. And that's why I don't like using it.
Okay then.
Okay. Well, what's Heroes of the Storm? Tell the people.
Heroes of the Storm is like the babyest version of Dota and League of Legends, but it also it's its own thing. I don't want to talk too much about it because nobody really cares about it.
Good deal.
But it's like it's really easy to pick up and play. It's also a free to play game, and the way that it's structured is you play more, you get points and whatever, and you can unlock characters and shit like that. And you can get more points by doing like certain objectives. for the day, like in Hearthstone or Diablo. Like they'll be like, hey, play as a warrior class hero or something like that. I don't know, or play as a StarCraft hero, and win 3 times with them, or not even win at all. You get just like a little extra bonus for doing certain daily goals, so that'll help you. And I like StarCraft. I dabbled with Diablo a little bit. I don't really care for Warcraft. Most people do love Warcraft, World of Warcraft.
World of
And
Warcraft
it,
is a different thing. That's
yeah, true.
like, regular Warcraft is more like StarCraft.
Right, true. But most people play World of Warcraft, so that I feel, to me, the Warcraft series is World of Warcraft. You know,
Yeah.
all the lore, like I feel like would come from World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Well, all of Dota came from Warcraft 3.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a mod, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like Blizzard knocking off of something that was knocked off of Warcraft 3. They were like, hey man, Dota 2, or not Dota 2, but like Dota 1, Dota 2, and League of Legends, I want a piece of that pie. And so they made their own thing. But they wanted to have, like they wanted to be way more accessible, like, than League of Legends even. And League of Legends is kind of accessible, but not really.
Don hates the game.
Let's not turn this into a League of Legends bash fest.
Yeah,
'Cause
I don't want to
Don
talk
will
about
go on
users too
forever.
much. Yeah, it's fun to play with friends if you have friends like
don't.
that want to play that game.
That's true of every game, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If your friends can't, like, if you can handle your friends getting mad salty, then this is the game for you. I do like the fact that they have the Lost Vikings as a character.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
like
awesome.
a
That's
retro
awesome.
Blizzard character, and I was like, I did not expect that, you know.
That is pretty cool.
And I also like Tracer, who's from the upcoming Overwatch, because I really like Overwatch, which I played, by the way, but I won't talk about it.
I
It's
think
like TF2.
yeah, having like no interest in that genre usually, I think that game looks really cool. I love the like character design and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right.
Cool.
So the next game on the list is another game that I'm actually pretty interested in that I haven't played, and it is Her Story.
It starts with the same 3 letters as
Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah, it does.
And it's Storm starts with the same 4 letters of the second word.
Wow! You're blowing my mind!
So is it a good thing or a bad
I can't
thing?
wait for the main character of Her Story to be playable in Heroes of the Storm. Just like digitally just impose her into the game, like Mortal Kombat style.
I know nothing about Her Story. I knew nothing about Her Story before the Game Awards, and then it won like a bunch of awards. I have no idea what it is.
So tell us what it is,
Oh,
Phil.
I kind of do, but at the same time, I don't.
Sure.
Well, Phil's gonna tell us.
Her Story is a game where you review snippets of police interview footage. You can only view like 30 seconds worth of clips at a time, and only by searching for specific words that the person in the clips will say. And although there's no like actual goal set out by the game when you start, the idea is that you would slowly unravel the mystery of what happened to lead to these police interviews. The more you discover, so you start off and the woman will be sat there and she might mention a watch. So, okay, you type in watch, and she says, oh, I got the watch as a present for my birthday. Okay, so you type in birthday, and then you go on and on and on. And you're basically just free to figure out as much of the story as you want at any pace you want. and like that's the entire game. It's like a mock like Windows 95 PC screen.
The interface is really like cool and like Phil said, it looks like really old computer
Yeah.
with like scroll bars and stuff.
Yeah, and all you do is you search for keywords and you watch video clips, which seems like it would be really dumb, like no depth to it, but it's it's award winning and rightly so.
Yeah, Bacon, Mark Brown did a whole video on it on Game Maker's.
He hasn't got my bacon in so long.
I have yet to watch that, but I feel like I will.
I started
eventually.
watching it, and then he was like, "Oh, there's gonna be spoilers," and I was like, "Fine."
I don't think
Yeah.
I care enough about the game to not know spoilers.
Sure, well, you can't really talk about the game.
Yeah, it's another one of
without
those.
spoiling it.
It's another.
That's pretty much the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
To
is the
learn
entire game.
what the spoiler is.
Yeah. Although interestingly enough, since you have to type keywords, if you type her story into the search bar, it will take you straight to the end. and then it's like a fun game. You work backwards and try and like see how events led to that point. So it's just really, really good.
Interesting. That is very interesting. What happens when you type in Tetris? Does the entire game become Tetris?
No.
Like Google?
I'm pretty sure nothing happens if you type in.
But I do think that is the thing that makes the game interesting is that there's no. I mean, I wouldn't say there's no guidance because you do get some like. Don't when you load up the game, don't you get like 5 like videos to start from or something like that?
Yeah, it gives you like a breadcrumb trail to go by.
Yeah. But other than that, there's not anybody like. You're the one who decides what words to search for and what words
When I played it, I like double-sided A4 just full of just words that I was crossing off just to search for. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can't recommend it highly enough.
Nice. It does definitely. Matt loves what he likes to call artsy fartsy indie games. And,
Yep, I do.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's even that though.
It's indie.
Yeah, it's
an interactive story.
Yeah, exactly. But artsy fancy indie games, they have a sort of pretense about them. Like, oh, we know we're making a video game, and we're going to make a video game about what video games are about. But her story is just, an interactive, novel essentially.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any pretense of being more than that.
It's definitely like.
Which makes it better.
Yeah. It's
Something about the way that you said that, you like so quickly and so hushed.
I want to say I played a similar game. I think based on how you explained her story. This is a different like interactive story game. It's called Emily is Away.
Yeah, I downloaded that one.
That game like pretends to be like a Windows XP.
It's like an aim chat
back
room.
in the 90s. Yeah, an aim chat where you talk to this girl from high school and how you like the relationship evolves like as you go into college and stuff like that, and they eventually bang, and then the relationship goes like downhill from there because of that event.
But it's told all in like text.
Yeah, it's told like in text, and they do some like this is kind of spoilery, but whatever. The game's really short.
It's also free to play.
There's some cool stuff they do with like the chat. Like I first should explain that like you pick from like a selection of options, and then you like mash the keyboard to pretend like you're typing it. But then they play with that by like, hey, you pick this option, but what he starts typing out this thing, and then he deletes it and he says something else. And then it sort of goes like totally out of your control, and it tells like a kind of interesting story about you as a guy who was interested in this girl, and she sort of kind of returned the feelings at the same time, and then but then you don't.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's free to play on Steam.
Yeah, and it's not like free to play
it
in a
was-
sense where you have to spend money to play it. It's just
yeah.
it's a short game that they wanted to get out there for people to see. It came out this year, so or last year, so technically you're not in the wrong for talking about it.
It came out in November on Steam.
Oh my god.
So a little bit ahead of schedule, but since you were talking about a game that I thought was kind of related, I felt like I could talk about it.
Sure,
But if you want to go back to your story, you can.
I think he was done with his first story.
That's all you need to know about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
You said you highly recommend it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's another.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah, you have to pay for it, but he might not have had to. There's a game not on your guys' list that I added on this that I want to talk about just really quick.
Sure.
It's a mobile game. It's called Prune. I heard about this game because Time Magazine did their top 10 games of 2015, and it was number one. And all the gamers had a hissy fit that this indie game that they had never heard of was the number one game.
He was number one.
But it was, it was Time Magazine. So, like, do you really care about Time Magazine? Like, what do they know about video games? But, like, it was number one. So I was like, let me check it out. And it's neat. It's not a free-to-play mobile game. It's a game. It's like $5, and it is this puzzle game where you basically you're on the ground. You swipe your finger and you decide where to plant this tree. And as the tree is growing, you have to like chop branches off of it to keep it growing. And you have to get up to the sky so that it's like petals can bloom, like in the light. And each level they introduce like a new element that you have to avoid. Like there's buzzsaws and stuff like that you have to avoid. And it's really artistic and it's really kind of it kind of goes for that artsy fartsy feel where there's like some emotional weird weight to it at the end. And I don't have a lot to say about it, but it's a unique, interesting little game. And I don't know that I would call it game of the year, but I could see why somebody would, especially if it's not somebody who's used to playing video games. It's a very different.
Like Time Magazine.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very different kind of experience, and I think it's worth the like $4 that it costs on your phone.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to point that game out.
Yeah.
Moving on to July. There's a game on here called Contradiction. I literally have zero idea what that is.
It's
I have what it is either.
basically when I was making my list of what games to play, I didn't have any for July, so I thought, I'll find one. And then I saw a thread on NeoGAF about this game called Contradiction, which apparently was kickstarted for £4,000.
Oh boy, that's not a lot.
And it's it's an FMV point and click adventure game.
It's Night Trap.
Yeah, but it's it's really quite dull. You just like pick like topics from a conversation, but because the the acting is like so wacky and over the top, it's just hilarious. But there's absolutely no reason for anyone to know about it unless you're interested in the novelty of FMV games, and even then, you want her story.
Yeah, I'm on like the Steam page, and it looks like a fucking TV show. Like it's just all the screenshots are. It doesn't even look like a game. Like even like elements of her story has like looks like a game. Like this is literally FMVs. This is a TV show.
Yeah,
what is
the entire thing's FMV? It's really wacky.
All right then.
Okay.
Contradiction, the all-video murder mystery adventure.
Is it good?
I mean, it's not bad. It's you'll get a chuckle out of it if you just want to watch the guy pull goofy faces.
Did you play this today? Because you said you were looking for a game while you were making.
Oh no, I made my list before the year was over.
Okay, gotcha.
It's way ahead of the game.
Okay.
Does it have anything to do with Tex Murphy? Because it's in the more like this.
No.
I imagine it's quite similar, but I haven't played any Tex Murphy games, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, I haven't played any Tex Murphy games either. My brother's like into that though.
Sure, I know. There's a really funny giant bomb quick look on Contradiction where they basically just show all the funniest scenes. So if you just want to get a feel of what the game's like and you don't actually want to play it, then There you go. That's my recommendation. Watch someone else's YouTube video.
Nice.
All right. The next game in July, the last game in July. There's only 2 in July. Five Nights at Freddy's 4. FNAF 4.
Woo, okay. I'm the only one that played it.
Yep, just pumping those games out. That guy does.
You have the floor, Jess.
Dude, yeah, he Scott Cawthon, man, he's got stamina. He doesn't stop working on these things. And actually, Five Nights at Freddy's World just came out today. So.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Which I plan on getting my hands on very soon because it looks cute. But Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is a game I really, really like. Like gameplay-wise, I think it's the best one. But story-wise, I think it's simultaneously like the most unnecessary. It's good, but it's unnecessary. And basically, what sets it apart from the others is it's not as visually oriented as the first 3 are. You don't get to check cameras and see who's sneaking up on you. You have to guess where they're coming from. Well, not guess. You have to actually listen for them.
Yeah, there's like audio cues instead of.
Yeah, there's audio cues. If you run up to a door and you hear sounds that basically any sound that's not normal, you have to shut the door and not turn on your flashlight, because if you turn on your flashlight, then they'll jump scare you. And if you take too long, then they'll get in your room and jump scare you. And an interesting thing that that can happen here is that Foxy is actually in the game and can sneak into your room, basically hang out in your closet, and if you take too long to pacify him, then he'll jump scare you. And then Freddy, which I thought was the weirdest thing, is actually composed of like 3 separate, like smaller animatronics that will like gather around on the bed, and if you take too long to pacify them and scare them off, then they'll jump scare you. They'll form Freddy and jump scare you, which is the weirdest thing. I still don't quite understand how that works, but what makes it like so incredibly scary, and what I think makes it the best, is that it's not like it takes away that false sense of security you had, like by being able to check the cameras, and kind of makes you feel a little bit more isolated, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, well, you're just a kid in that one, so
you're like, a kid, and you're in your home. You're not like, this isn't an office. This is a space that should normally be safe, and and it's not. So it's, and the nightmare versions of the animatronics are terrifying.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
just awful. So, you're clearly like you're playing from the perspective of a kid who is clearly terrified of these things, and that's only like made clearer as the story goes along. He clearly loves the characters. He has dolls of the characters in his room, but he hates the animatronics, and the whole story kind of revolves around him and his brother, who is awful to him, just a huge bully, and it's still not quite clear, I don't think, who he is or who he's supposed to be. A lot of fans theorize that he's actually the one who becomes the puppet, which I think is pretty plausible. But like I said, story-wise, there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered there. And would have been on night 7, when you beat night 7, there's a box that you can click on the locks. There's 2 locks that you can click on, but it doesn't actually open. And people still haven't found a way to open it. So
yeah, and like
either Scott is just that good at hiding something, or there's no actual way to open it. So
because like, oh man, so in Five Nights 3. Mm-hmm. There was like secret mini games to get like the true ending and stuff.
Yeah. You had to click on it like you had to. Well, first of all, what you had to do is you had to go for you had to wait for like the sprited sequences at the end of every night. Travel down a specific hallway, and there would be a clue as to what you could do to get to the next mini game to free the spirit of a child.
Yeah, but like I remember reading Scott saying that like he was shocked how quickly people found this cryptic stuff in Five Nights 3, and that nobody found whatever he was talking about in 4, implying that there's something to find that nobody's found yet. Like,
yeah, and people. I'm assuming people are still trying because there's still no way, to my knowledge, to open the box. If I'm wrong about that, then somebody correct me. But I have a feeling if it had, my Twitter feed would have exploded by now.
I just can't believe that, like, with Undertale, people unpacked the data and found all this hidden stuff. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
I can't believe nobody's tried to just look at the code for.
People.
I'm sure they have.
People have tried to cheat and find out if there's anything in the box, but to my knowledge, I don't think anyone knows for sure what's going on. So.
Jeez.
Yeah, Scott, come on! People are probably still sending him messages night and day, begging him to let them know what's in this damn box because he's still not budging on it. So.
What is the mini game that you have to unlock the box with? It's actually FNAF World.
Yeah.
The entirety of FNAF World. You have save data from FNAF World to unlock the box.
Shit, dude.
That would be a trip.
I know what I'm playing next anyway. Well, I am playing it next anyway, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like Five Nights at Freddy's Tour. I think it's simultaneously the best gameplay-wise and yet the most unnecessary. But I am happy that he made it and added something new to this series because it was kind of it was good, but it's nice to have him change it up like that and take away one of the elements and all of a sudden it's not a completely different game, but different enough to make it its own thing.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
I can appreciate that. Each game tried something new enough and different enough to stand on its own and to justify existing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. People, I think, got burned out on it after that. I haven't heard too much. I haven't seen nearly as much about Five Nights at Freddy's 4 on my feed as I have about Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
I think it's mostly just how quickly he released all of them.
Oh my god, I still can't believe it.
I feel like any franchise would get burned out after
that. Yeah, probably.
Like you said, it is justified though.
Yeah, it is
because of how different they are. I feel it's justified, and I respect Scott a lot. These games aren't for me, but I respect him a lot, and
same here.
I like how he's a successful indie developer.
Dude, he made so much. I meant to bring this up before, but he made so much. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
No, he's done. Go ahead.
Okay,
no.
I was gonna say.
I'm cutting him off.
No,
he made so much freaking money from these games. He actually donated such a huge chunk of it to charity. It was $250,000 he donated to charity, which is just wow. So I think this is a really good thing for indie games in general, and I respect what Scott Cawthon does, and I just hope he doesn't lose that enthusiasm because he clearly didn't lose it with this. So
no, I agree. I think it's an inspiring success story. Supposedly the first Five Nights
it was the
game.
first success he ever had.
He was a failing indie dev, and who
what he did, and I think is really cool. I don't know if I brought this up. I probably did in a previous podcast, but what he did was he took an insult that he was given from a previous game, and
Jim Sterling,
where somebody said the characters' movements felt very awkward and like they were animatronics, and he kind of took that and turned that into motivation to make Five Nights at Freddy's, which I think is just awesome. So, mad ups to Scott Cawthon. Keep on trucking because I want to see what you do next. So.
Get the chance pretty soon to play FNAF.
Yeah.
FNAF World.
I'm super excited about that. So that's what I've got to say about Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Good,
I recently saw a whole bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's merch just emerge.
Oh my god, it's all over the place.
It's all over at Hot Topic and stuff.
Yeah,
I was in Hot Topic when I was in St. Louis, and it's everywhere. Yeah.
Notorious places where
it's
where they'll just find some artwork.
Yeah.
And be hey, let's make it a shirt. So I'd like to know if he's getting revenue off of merchandise that's at Hot Topic.
I assume he is because a lot of merchandise also shows up at Target.
Yeah, Matt, you got me. Matt actually got me a Five Nights at Freddy's blind bag, and I got Freddy. So
nice.
That was pretty nice surprise.
I got Foxy.
Very appropriate. You got Foxy?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I bought one just to see what I would get, and I was not disappointed because if it would have been Balloon Boy, I would have fucking Throw it in the trash.
Nobody likes Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy's probably the most hated character there.
He's the worst. Let's be real. Come on.
He is the worst. He is the worst. I will give you that. He is. But goddamn, like, I should have talked about him in 3 because he, like, went from obnoxious to straight up creepy. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about where Five Nights at Freddy's like has gone to, and you know where it started from and what it's become. I love this series to death, and I'm super happy for it. So
Yeah, I think it's inspiring.
it is.
I love seeing indie devs get a piece of that pie. So.
Absolutely. And I think this will be inspiring for others. So that's all I've got to say about Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and we should move on from that. Otherwise, I'll keep gushing. So.
Well,
all right.
I don't think any of us played anything interesting in August.
No, I on my list, I've completely scratched August.
Hold on. Don't go on to August.
What?
We're not going on to August. We're going on to September.
Yeah.
But whatever. What did you?
Come on.
What did you want to say? What do you want to say?
I'm pretty sure a very important figure passed away in July.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit.
So Satoru Iwata passed away on the 11th, I believe, in July.
Yeah, that was sad.
And that was really an emotional thing for
just gaming in general.
Yeah, it was
absolutely
a very sad day, to be sure.
Yeah.
How old was he? He had to be like.
He was 55.
No, he was 55.
Yeah.
Good lord.
He was very young. Everybody kind of knew he was sick because he was not at E3. They recorded all of his stuff prior to that, and I believe was it voice act over or was he on screen? No, he was on screen. But
I think it was one of those things that people kind of saw coming but still weren't expecting as soon as it happened.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew he was as sick as he was.
No, they didn't let on. No. People knew that he was sick, but I definitely didn't think he was going to die. I thought he was going to be okay because like I said, his voiceover was at E3, in that, in the direct and everything. So like I thought he was just, he was going to get over it. I didn't realize how sick he was. Like his passing really came as a shock to me.
It really shook the gaming community.
Yeah, and it was a sad loss because he was a much bigger deal than I think a lot of people even realize. Like he worked on so many different Nintendo games, and he's pretty much the entire reason Earthbound exists. In what it is.
Yeah. He was able to compress Gold and Silver enough to fit Kanto inside of it.
He did a lot for games in general, for Nintendo, and
Didn't he develop Balloon Fight?
Sad loss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. He also debugged Melee.
Yeah.
To get it ready for release. And so the game that people have. Yeah. That's all he was doing. Thank Iwata for wave dashing.
Yeah, he was just a big presence. Like after he took over as the president, he made Nintendo all their staff is much more personable than any of the other companies out there. Like there's certain developers that like Kojima or Ono. There's people that but I think Iwata played a big part in Nintendo really putting themselves out there.
I think.
Well, he oversaw too, the huge successes for Nintendo.
Yeah.
The Wii and the DS.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I can say for Iwata is that I really respected him very thoroughly, and it's hard for me to say that about many presidents of companies. The whole thing with the Wii U's failed launch and him taking a pay cut. Not a single CEO in North America would do that.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I guarantee fucking to you that not a single one of them in North America would do that. So I just have a tremendous amount of respect for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he's good people, and he clearly
he had a lot of faith in his company and his employees, and just knowing that, finding out that he was that sick by hearing about that he had passed away was just heart wrenching.
Yeah, it was a big blow.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, Iwata. And that's why I didn't want to just like, move on.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But we do have to move on to just to keep this party train rolling.